Hello everyone. I'm just gonna double check and see you can see everything I'm seeing. Alright. So for today I have another journal that I've kind of been in the midst of making. All the pages are found and everything. But I have this, which I do not want to be not, we need to get this figured out. Now, this is a pretty sturdy piece, so I don't really want to do too much to it. I was thinking with this would probably fit it pretty well. Just cover up that area. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay. Now I'm going to straighten this up a bit. There we go. Now I'm going to glue this. I'm going to see about cutting some of this off too. Some of these fuzzies. Because that's just going to destroy my Fabri-Tac a little bit. So if we can comb the piece here down a little, it won't be as bad, hopefully. There. All right. And as usual, it doesn't want to come out right away. Paper clips. Paper clips are wonderful sometimes for this aspect. So this weekend has been very interesting. You'll be watching this Monday after the weekend, but didn't get a video done due to going off, and I made a special dinner for my dad and brother while they were hunting, because it's big hunting weekend here in Wisconsin, that it was important for me to get that done. And now I'm going to just squeeze a bunch onto my finger and try to spread it that way. At least try. It's so sticky. I don't like using my finger to do this, but I could use globs of glue, I guess, like this. It's so fuzzy, and it doesn't want to stay unless you have globs of it. And even then, it does this thing. So, yeah, I mean, some artists do the finger trick. I personally, the finger trick doesn't work very well for me. All I'm doing right now is just pushing it down, trying to get it to align nicely. And again, I still made it too big, this part. So, just cut again across here as much as I could. There. go, and I see that this part is coming up right there. When certain parts that are coming up, it's easier to just stick glue on them parts instead of on the actual piece. It works great fabric to fabric. That's why I was choosing fabric to fabric for this particular piece. So there we go. We got that done. Now I had a bit of an idea here for the cover, since we're waiting a little bit. And this is like a velvet piece. And I was thinking something fun would, you know, just create a little bit more dimension with it. Like, would that add enough dimension to it, was my thought process. I don't really like that. Alright. What about one of these pieces? I kind of like that, but don't. At the same time, I like the coffee dyed idea, but not how it looks. Maybe something as simple as this behind it. Yeah, I kind of like that. It's dark enough, but it ain't like too dark behind it. So let's just cut this piece off. Sometimes you can take something as simple as this to create some aspects within it, but that's too small of a piece. But I like this one. It creates that dimension again to it. So that, and I want to add some distress. And I use walnut stain. I know a lot of artists use vintage photo and that type of thing. I don't know why, but I've never been the hugest fan of vintage photo when it comes down to making stuff like this. Not the hugest fan. I choose different types rather than what everybody else chooses, I guess. And again, this is Fabri-Tac, I think, or 3-in-1, or one of the, or Fabrifix. I kind of mix them. Like, I'm not necessarily particular on what kind I use. Again, that just adds the dimension it needs, right? Just little bits of dimension, so it isn't so much the same. I know, like, if you like this type of style too, with the gauze a part of the background and everything, I recommend using or watching some Artie Mays. She's an artist who uses a lot more grungy with stuff than I do. See, that's kind of what I like about doing journals like this, is you don't have to be necessarily making every single piece the exact same. You're allowed to make it whatever style you may feel like. I like it looking a little grungier when I'm going to be adding more of that. Like, this whole piece was a little bit more grungier than my other pieces. I'll admit that. So, I'm okay with that. So this is my cover. Again, I'm keeping it rather basic. There will be lace coming down this way, and it'll probably be the same lace I'm using in the inside. So, and it feels like it's dry now. So I'm going to move on to the next thing. I have 3 to add in here, so might as well work on this. Again, some people are very anal about it being perfect. I'm not. I'll full on admit it. I'm not so particularly anal about it, but I am anal about the pages being correct. So, I'm just going to do one last little flip through, make sure all my pages are correct here, and now we can work on sticking her in. Now, I am going to move that up a little bit because I want it all flush to the bottom. I don't care about this page floating over the top. I just want it flush with the bottom. So, this is where, that's all I'm trying to do, is make sure my stuff is flush to the bottom as much as I can. It's okay if it bends and rips and everything else. It's supposed to be grungy, so I don't mind it. Looking that way. I don't like where it's placed though. So I gotta move it a bit. Okay, so turns there. All right, so we want it on this side of the things here. Okay. I'm going to grab this side because this side, it seems to want to move. And again, I'm fine with it ripping due to me wanting it to look grungy as possible. Can't seem to get this clamped. I don't want it to not clamp because then I'm going to have issues. Alright. So this is where I try to find the middle and I punch it through, or poke it through, I should say. Then about 1 inch or so, you poke it through to the best of your ability. It does sometimes take a little bit of strength. Inch, poke. There we go. Alright. Now I've got to figure out what kind of thread I want to put in it. If I want to do twine or if I want to use something else, and I think I'm going to. Just because I like this better. So this time I'm using waxed thread. This was thread that was given to me. A family member found it on Wish and thought, ooh, this would work for macrame. And I don't think this is macrame thread. Just to let you know, I really don't think so. But it works great for this. So at least I came up with something other than macrame with it. And the cover is actually an old photo album. Which a lot of people don't think, oh yeah, we could reuse some photo albums that maybe the insides are falling apart. I mean, this one, I want to say there was kids coloring pages, you know, or them photo albums, them old photo albums that use the old like sticker type stuff. It makes more sense to use pieces like this for photo after, you know, than keeping the photo album. I think I wrecked a few pages, or the pages were wrecked somehow, so this is what I came up with. Make a journal out of it. Okay, so I actually ended up hitting it right in the middle. So, sometimes that's what happens when you're doing stuff like this, is you accidentally get things a little out of order. Oh well. This one would be the middle one then. I don't mind it. And that also works well when you do the middle one first instead of last. And again, this is my process. Many people have different processes of doing the same thing. Like, I know if you want a place to poke necessarily, and you can't poke up in the ear like I do, I know that's probably why I don't get the straightest maybe edges possible, but at least I get pretty close. Like, it's my length that is normally off. But part of that reason is because I hold it up in the air when I poke. Some people poke into an old, like when they gut a book, they pull out the old book pages and they use old book pages as their way of poking. Yeah, not my not my thing. But again, it's one of them. Everybody has different ways of handling a situation. You just gotta find your way. What makes you happy, like doing it this way for me gives me the tightest possible way of making sure. I'm more concerned about how tight the thread is, where again others may not be. It's again a personal how you want it. I can have it crooked all day in my mind and cover it because it's easy to cover. It isn't a big deal. What is a big deal is not having the pages, like, to me the pages being loosey-goosey is more important than having them crooked that can be easily fixed, in my mind. Now, if the situation was a little bit different where, oh my, you know, it's a big deal, but sometimes it really is not a very big deal at all. I am filming ahead at the moment just because I have other things that, you know, things that just come up randomly sometimes, and I'd rather, again, have a little bit filmed ahead for when those days happen. Because last week, again, there are days where I get sick or the kids are sick and I'm not able to necessarily make a perfect video, or well, not really a perfect video, but any type of video. It just doesn't happen when I'm busy with the kids. Like I know tomorrow night, for example, my kids and I are going to be busy. They have their club stuff to go to. Where last week they didn't have club, so they didn't have to be ready for club. But this week they do. See, this page was a page from, or not really a page, it was originally a gift bag. It really bright gold. But again, I like using what I have. And because of all the tutorials lately, this is going to be like the last video, I'm very sure, where once I'm done with the signature, there really isn't much left to do other than add in my ephemera. So, might as well be prepped and ready for that. And hopefully I'll be able to do more tutorials again once I'm done making all these journals. And I could do all this off screen, but as a subby has said, it's nice to see that every part, the prep and everything for journals, not just the journals themselves, not just the tutorials. I try to be well-rounded of giving you everything I'm working on, so then we're doing it together. Yeah, I'll do tutorial videos a couple weeks at a time where I have tutorial after tutorial after tutorial, but at the same time I have situations like this where I have, what, I just got done with 2 regular journals, well, almost all 4, plus I have 4 or 2 more that are still like in the midst of being made. Like, I just got the papers almost figured out, and then I have more that, again, it comes like that sometimes. So I have this journal, the Home for the Holidays journal. We just got done with the Poinsettia journal, and I think I'm going to add more to it already. And then I have a box that I've been filling with the different tutorials and stuff we've been doing, and sticking it into the box, which I haven't figured out what I'm doing on the outside of the box yet. Then I have the teacher journals that we've been working on. So, I mean, I have 1 finished, or wait, 2 finished now, but 2 more to go yet. So, I mean, that's a lot to be doing all at once. So I'm getting a bit overwhelmed, and that's why I said I need to take the time to add the signatures into this one, add signatures into the last one. Yeah, again, it ain't fun, but it's a part of how things work. So I'm lining this up. To be a little shorter. And then this is going to get put right on here. And again, I think this just adds a little bit of charm to the whole piece. Not just one way or the other, just the whole thing. So I'm going to glue it, and I also like this because it gives the spine a little extra. If you feel like your spine's a little too, whatchamacallit, sometimes you forget the words, flimsy and stuff like that, this just gives it a little extra. And again, it gives the signatures a little extra. And that's what I like to do. I like to give everything just a little extra. You don't have to be perfect with it. No one's saying, oh no, you got to be perfect with this. No. If you're a perfectionist, okay, I get it. But I don't like being a perfectionist. I like everything having its own little place, but not necessarily perfect. Because I think the imperfections add character to these pieces. If you're into perfection, I recommend getting into mini albums and folios and sticking with that. Even though I make mistakes on them too. But, I mean, yeah, I've never been one to make one of them like perfect little scrapbooking pages where everything's perfect. Same with cards. I think that's my issue with making cards, is it has to be looking pristine and everything. If I could make a journaling card as a birthday card, I probably would. Just my personal take on it. And I don't mind that the goop from the glue happened here, just because it's the back. No one cares. All they care about is the aesthetic. So, there we go. We've got this journal now ready for filling it, and I have my little thing here full of stuff to fill it with, so I can't wait. Again, I've been kind of just collecting and putting things places to get it going, and now I'm thinking, ooh, I have so much stuff to do yet. Just like I want to create for the last, or for this one, our Home for the Holidays one, I want to create a little box to stick all these numbers into, or some kind of thing like that, just so then we have a place for them with the journal. So, I mean, again, lots of ideas. I hope you enjoyed this video, and check out my stuff down below. I mean, I have my Etsy store, my Spotify podcast, my whatchamacallit. Again, I have a whole list of stuff down below of different things you can join. My Facebook group, which now has 7 people. Yay! Again, I'm working on building these things, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night. Bye!